y'all. It is February the 17th, 2020, and we're about to wing it, y'all. Alright, and before we do, we're going to set the stage. We're going to set the mood tonight because we're winging it. We don't know what we're doing. We're a little bit immature, so we might as well do it like this. It's from the Emulators, doing a cover of a song I think y'all remember. So I'm just get into it, and then we're gonna wing it on the other side. I appreciate you. The Emulators.
You gonna sing along with me? Well, say it ain't so, I will not go. We'll turn the lights off. Carry me home. Say it ain't so, I will not go. We'll turn the lights off. Carry me home.
I don't know how well that translated over the internet right now. I understand that I could have been doing some of that buffering, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And like I said, you know, we're going into it tonight a little bit blind, and that's why we went ahead and did that. It's by the Emulators, alright? I don't know where they're from, but I means to find out, alright? The Emulators LA, if you could even believe it. I might just save that and subscribe to them a little bit later. Right? I don't know, put out a broadcast. I got all these playlists, and, you know, they're kind of random. I don't even update them. Anyways, there's Steve Urkel. Alright. What we're going to do is we're going to check out screenshots. Alright? And then we're going to check out Google for little news splits and stuff and see if they can't get us on the road to success. Alright? Because we don't know what we're doing. I have absolutely no idea. Today was a little bit interesting. You know, I just kind of woke up not very long ago. And then I got to cooking and stuff. And I did a little bit of that cooking. Had to get it out of the way. And, you know, haven't really been thinking about much. I've heard certain people talking about certain things. Just like they were yesterday, basically. Alright? Could be wild stuff. So, you know, I forget what it is I took screenshots of. Alright? We might run through them real quick. Let's start off on this one. Alright, let's check out, see what's going on in the world. Why people are angry at we already saw this kind of last week, alright? And it's kind of old news. Or actually, it's just a couple days ago, and it's just old news. Rage Against the Machine. Old news. So we're going to get rid of that. I see somebody up in the building, and I want to let you know that I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who might very well come after you. Feel free to shout me out in the comments and stuff. Certainly, there's certain people that I should get a hold of and in contact with, and I plan to do so. I've been getting carried away. I think I just fixed my motorbike, to be honest. Earlier, I was working on that a little bit, very leisurely, but I got it done, all right? And the thing is, I haven't been able to test drive it yet. I might wait till tomorrow 'cause it's all dark outside. And I've just been doing different various things, get my herb garden, just a whole bunch of things. I'll let you know about it later. But in the meantime, what's on my screenshots? Father uses machete. We already went through this sort of stuff, and that's crazy. We should follow that up. Here's the thing. I'm starting a movement, right? It's a political movement. It's a social movement, right? In which we try desperately to crack down on what's known as machete violence, right? If you've never heard of it, I mean, machetes are abounding, and you know what I'm saying? We need to ban them and get rid of all those. 2 years after Parkland shooting, NRA no longer. We already been through all this. Like, dude, we don't even have anything today. Utah Trump oil, we saw that. Anti-Trumper arrested. I don't know if you've seen this, but I bet you everybody saw this. This guy's got a funny face. He's probably, allegedly, one of those NPCs, and he's very emotional, very angry. Most people, let's dwell upon it, most people cannot debate. Cannot. Just don't even try it. That's why you get in trouble. But the thing is, nobody was probably trying to debate this guy. And allegedly, if this did happen, he's just ran up on this little boy and started slapping him. Right, and I don't even know what that guy's face on the lower right hand corner. I don't know. I tried to read the article, but I still couldn't find out. I think I was a little bit distracted, but check this out. If you're getting a visual right now, we're looking at something that's kind of interesting. It'd be that Jazz Jennings. I don't know if you know this, but a Harvard student. That's right, Ivy League and stuff. Just probably a genius. More than likely, I can't take that away from Jazz. The thing is, it's like, okay, well, we look at it. The reason why it caught my eye is because it looks a certain kind of way. I don't know if the females would recognize it, but I got to imagine they would. Some of them recognize this look of desperation, of just like a deer sort of caught in the headlights, perhaps. And I'm not saying anything, like I don't know anything about Jazz Jennings, but perhaps on antipsychotic drugs and things of that nature, it kind of gives you a glazed over look, like almost 1,000-yard stare, maybe a 500-yard stare, and just kind of oily and sweaty and just like, oh God, people are looking at me, taking pictures, just always constantly taking pictures, and it's not looking very well. I don't think, as far as transitions go. And also, I keep hearing about these different surgeries. I pray for Jazz Jennings. I love everybody, to include Jazz Jennings. But, you know, in a sense, especially Jazz Jennings, just because, I don't know about y'all, but we don't want to get kicked off of YouTube right now, but can you even imagine your genitalia being mangled in such a way that it's just a consistent, like it'll keep being a problem, bubbling over and stuff like that, if you can even imagine. It's like, okay, well, yeah, I pray for this person. I want nothing but the best for this person, Jazz Jennings, and I'm tired. I'm tired of that. Woman who reclined her seat on American Airlines flight explains why she did it. And I took a picture of this specifically. It's from Yahoo News. It's extra legitimate. And you can see there's a lady, and I guess she's on an airplane, right? And there's a guy behind her, and he's got his hand on her seat, the headrest of it, as though he's annoyed or perhaps stretching. So, a woman who reclined her seat on American Airlines flight explains why she did it. And I want to study that headline right there. And you might be missing it. I feel like you're missing it. But out there, again, I just want to repeat it. Woman who reclined her seat on American Airlines flight explains why she did it. If you're thinking to yourself, that is not news. That's not even close to newsworthy. There's no way in the world that somebody wrote an article about it. That's exactly what I thought. Right? It was ridiculous. And Walmart puts Plan B in Valentine's Day display. San Antonio Twitter says HEB does it better. Hey y'all, I know everybody has their like different local stores, depending on where you go regionally. All sort of different stores, like grocery stores. Around here in Texas, it would be HEB. And there's other ones, sort of, but HEB really, I think they represent. I really do. And in San Antonio, they have some of the biggest HEBs in all Texas. And I think they represent, and you know, you can get everything you want organic of an HEB if you wanted to. If you want to get total garbage, you can buy that at HEB as well. If you want to buy your baby some fluoridated water, you can still do that at HEB. All sort of weird stuff, man. Like you can get whatever you really want at HEB. You can get, just, like I said, completely clean, fresh food and stuff, man. I appreciate them, and they kind of represent. And I took a screenshot because I was kind of interested. Walmart putting the Plan B in Valentine's Day display. Plan B, Valentine's. And there's a whole slew of things that could be said, but it's just over the top, chaotic, and ridiculous, and over the top, right? When you consider Saint Valentine, a story that we shared the other day, as far as getting married, having children, creating a family, doing it right, ideally, all right? Saint Valentine, there's a history to it, there's a religion behind it. Okay, so Valentine's Day, which is a holiday to celebrate that guy, apparently. And so they make sure it's like, okay, well, with your Valentine's Day package, here's some poison just to make sure that you kill that disgusting bastard, whatever's in you. Make sure you kill it, and it's like you don't want to make any mistakes tonight, you know, and stuff like it's very eerie. You might say satanic. I don't know if that's controversial, but anyways, y'all, I'm gonna check out the comments. See, look, I have access, and whenever if ever y'all need me to cover something, like I said, locally, or something's going on, maybe you know of a certain situation that is pending and nobody else, or you want to hear some more people cover it, and we shall do that. Meanwhile, in this headline, I took a picture of this. And you already, if you've seen the visual, you already seen it. 19 things to see and do in San Antonio. And I swear, what is this? San Antonio Express News. I called him out so very long ago. I can't remember the first time. For being basically a newspaper dedicated to drag queens. It's really disgusting. And the thing is, in San Antonio, we don't exactly have drag queens that pass or anything, if you know that word, if you're familiar with that terminology. We literally have no drag queens that pass, I don't think. Not even close, just because how genetically people look in San Antonio. They don't never work out and stuff. But meanwhile, some of the ladies, I gotta say, I'm not gonna say which ones, but some of the ladies are real butch looking themselves, you know, and don't exactly pass either, if I have to be honest. Some of them, but not all of them, obviously. We got some lookers sometimes. But anyways, blah blah Valentine, San Antonio's Pasty Pops. San Antonio's Pasty Pops Burlesque Review adds some spice to Valentine's Day. And also they'll be including the Plan B pills for everybody, just in case you happen to do it with the other gender, with a variety of shows that feature special guests, Raquel Reed, whoever that is, and who cares who that is, but the San Antonio Express News, you can depend on them for it. It's like clockwork for them covering it, and we already covered this. Oh, well, actually, we didn't cover this. That seems kind of minuscule. I haven't been noticing no cockroaches, so you know about that. I don't know why I took this screenshot, right? I don't know why. Something about abortion rights require vasectomies. Oh man, I don't know if I took a screenshot of that headline. I don't think I did, right? But recently in the news, there was this thing where this lady, she's gonna pass a bill. Her name's Representative Rolanda Hollis, and she's like, dude, if you're gonna try to take away our rights to quite literally chop up and scrape out our babies, if that's what you're gonna try to do, on my watch, I'm gonna put in through this bill in which I'll make sure to have a child limit in America, or in her little region, to have a child limit. You can only have three as a man. She didn't explain about the ladies. They could have however many they want, but men had to only have three. And when they do have three, they automatically get signed up for a vasectomy. Obviously, it's over the top and hyperbolic, and everybody knows it. And of course, she'll probably admit it. But a vasectomy, automatically, if you have three children as a man. Now, it doesn't say what happens if you identify as a lady. Do you still get a vasectomy? I don't know. But so a lot of people, obviously, men would not be signing up to have their dick, their genitalia all hacked up necessarily. Not typically. Maybe if they really, really had to, if it's necessary. But most men won't. Obviously, it was hyperbolic. It was over the top. But meanwhile, it did not even drive home a point at all. Not even close. It's just like, it's so disgusting. And it is satanic. They want to go at your genitalia with all sort of sharp objects and stuff just to kind of get their way. And at the end of the day, their way is to chop up the baby. I mean, that's how we should say it from now on, is to chop up. I mean, because that's what it is, quite simply. All right, and it's kind of interesting. Okay, so it just doesn't make sense. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, okay, she wants to make sure that they had the right to do that, which a lot of people call murder. And if you don't like it, well, we got an idea. We're gonna chop at your genitalia with sharp objects until you can't have no babies. See, isn't that fair? Doesn't that make no sense? Alright, meanwhile on the other side, people are just like, hey, let's keep making babies. Alright, cell phone tower debate. I took a picture of that because it was probably a local thing. I don't think it was even San Antonio. I think it might have been the Wall Street. No, it wasn't the Wall Street Journal. It was CBS. Who's to say? But any local town, basically. That's why I took the screenshot. Cell phone tower, and they're having a debate. That's one of your 5G towers. That's what they look like. I seen them a long time ago. They put up some. They put up at least one in my mom's neighborhood, and just obviously probably a few more than that. And they're probably around San Antonio, but I don't see them everywhere yet. All right, and that's kind of what they look like. You know, I'm sure they hide them in different ways, but that's what they look like. And apparently, people are having some sort of debate over it as to, I'm not sure, the efficacy of it, perhaps. I'm not sure. Might look into that. Broward Clerk of Courts. And it was back in Valentine's, I guess, when I was taking these screenshots, and it says this. It's actually South Florida news. So shout out to all of them, and shout out to all y'all wherever you're at, man. I want to know where you're at so I can do the news on it, man. Let me know. In the meantime, Broward Clerk of Courts officiates dozens of weddings on Valentine's Day. And it's nothing really, I mean, I'm sure a lot of major cities are doing this sort of stuff, so it's nothing very noteworthy. I just wanted to look at these people and stuff gathered up. And I don't want to even say nothing about these people. I just wanted to look at them. I found it very interesting, and I don't know about you. You might not be looking at them. But I was like, oh, okay, this is perhaps, see, I love everybody, but perhaps not my crowd of people. It's so interesting, and I don't know why they put it out like that. All right, it's kind of messed up. Rethinking Drag Queen Story Hour. I don't know what that's about, but that is on Washington Examiner. Librarians love, see, we don't even have to read the articles necessarily, but it says librarians love Drag Queen Story Hour, and you got to ask yourself why. Why would, for example, why would a group, if you asked plumbers across America whether or not they like Drag Queen Story Hour, what would 9 out of 10 plumbers say that they did? Like, how do are y'all conducting surveys and to know whether or not how much people like drag queens and feel comfortable with them rolling around on the ground with little children? Y'all did a survey on that? Alright, so apparently all librarians, in fact, I think that's a prerequisite to becoming a librarian is that you had to learn how to love drag queens and the talent they have for telling stories to young children, rolling around on the ground with them, grinding all on them. That's all right. Man extradited to Colorado Springs for a charge related to $400,000. I was like, wow, that's amazing. $400,000, and he's not the only one. I know there's been more people, and not just to say men. It does happen to ladies sometimes, and I've seen it happen. All right, always keep that in mind. But mostly men, overwhelmingly. Man extradited, and it's like 400,000. They didn't even put a comma, right? They don't know how to use numbers. But $400,000 in outstanding child support. It's like, damn, that's a lot. That is a lot. He owes that much. I wonder how much he. I wonder how much he ever paid, if he ever paid any. But $400,000 coming down on this guy, right? How much does it take to raise a child? That's what I want to know. That might sound selfish to y'all. Victim struck by a stray bullet was sent home from hospital with a bullet inside her head. And I actually saw this a couple times. So shout out to the 3 people up in the building. Know that I see you and I appreciate you no matter what you do from here on out. And go ahead and leave a comment if you want to and stuff. All right, because we're winging it. We're not going to have a super long broadcast because there's still some stuff I want to try to get done. But we definitely have about 35 minutes to really get down to the nitty gritty. So you let me know. Victim struck by a stray bullet. That's something that I saw a couple of different times. And of course, that's Florida news. Everything's over the top wild in Florida, and I do want to reiterate, and I keep seeing it on an almost daily basis. Somewhere in South Florida, somebody gets ran over. And I don't know if I took a screenshot of it, but somebody gets ran over all the time. And lots of times it's a hit and run incident. And it's like, dude, it happens all the time over there, dude. I can't. How do y'all keep it up? How do y'all keep it up? And they do. And then there's actually a young boy, and he got struck by a vehicle. I don't know if I have a screenshot of it on Valentine's Day, or he was at a Valentine's little place where they were selling Valentine's goods, and he got ran over, right? Killed, probably. I can't remember. But this victim was struck by a stray bullet up into her head, right? I don't know exactly how wild stuff is over there in Florida. But it's wild enough to where you could go up into a hospital with a stray bullet up in your head, and they could overlook it, send you home, right? And I actually saw, because I was very interested in that, I saw this lady's wife, if you will. I think wife or living girlfriend or something, I forget. But explained, wow, this is wild, and can't believe all this happened. I could barely understand the lady because she had that thick South Florida accent. But, yeah, that is wild. I don't know if I have anything else to say about that. That is wild, right? Everything about that's wild. I don't know if there is things I would say about it, but I'll let y'all say something about it. This other stuff, screenshots, I think we're done with it. I was just taking pictures for stuff for work and stuff. I was doing some studying earlier. So that was the screenshots. I'm glad we got through it. Almost ran out of breath, y'all. Screenshots. So not too much. And of course, everybody's still talking about Corona, and that's why I bring it up. I don't necessarily want to stop thinking about Corona, and I want it to actually be a broad brush. I want it to, basically be a word for like everything that is bad that could come our way as far as health and diseases. There's no reason to panic, and there never shall be. I don't think a reason to panic doesn't help us. Alright, but at the same time, we can bolster our health and stuff like that. We're thinking about that sort of stuff. I've been uploading some videos and stuff leisurely, and there's still some videos from days and days ago that I still haven't uploaded. Like, one was to make pancakes, and you're going to see that pretty soon. My signature pancakes, and just weird different things like that. It's something to keep on our mind as far as keeping our health in order. And I want to take the time to stress that there might be some exercise involved, but I would describe it as not being centered around exercise necessarily, and also not, it's a side note, but not very strenuous. Because I know a lot of people out there, they become very intimidated. It's daunting to them. They're kind of stressed to put on their body. And anyways, that's on a side note. All right, forgot how I started talking about that. But it's about time we went to the authority of news. They know me inside out. All right, and if you ever go there and you tinker around, they're gonna get to know you. They're gonna probe you from the inside out. Google, they're gonna own you. All right. I don't know if you're comfortable with that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but they already got to me, so who knows? All right. I could be colluding with them right now. In the meantime, the first thing that popped up, here's the thing: your phone's always listening to you, and I stress that to everybody, no matter what. And I've said some wild things, and I'll continue to do it, especially in private. I see. As you might imagine, but still, it's not private because my phone's always around. It's hearing my words. And so we were talking at length about Jazz Jennings earlier, and so guess what? Right there at the top of my Google, right? So I appreciate Google, and the fact is that they're good listeners over there. Right? Sometimes, you need somebody to listen to you. So it says, I am Jazz. Jazz Jennings says her parents are headstrong about her college career. It's like, who cares? I mean, a million questions. Because I know a lot of people, most people don't know the details of Jazz Jennings, and me neither. Like for example, you're going to Harvard. All right, I get it. So is David Hogg. You're going to Harvard to do what? Are you going to be some sort of hero? You're going to major in being brave and courageous? Who's to say? And so, like, they're headstrong, but they're not they're headstrong about that, but not necessarily about your genitalia necessarily. They're headstrong about your college career. Like, it's like, dude, it's shameless, but it's done by Showbiz Cheat Sheet. And see, the thing is, we need to actually, the reason I keep bringing it up is a good example. I'm not bullying Jazz Jennings. I love Jazz Jennings. In fact, more than you. And this goes to anybody out there, all right? I'm throwing down the gauntlet. I love Jazz Jennings more than you, and prove me wrong. I do. I do. But thing is, terrible things are happening to Jazz Jennings. All sort of stuff, lower carriage and everything else. Like the spirit of Jazz Jennings, all right? That's kind of what I'm concerned about. On a genuine, because this is not gonna go in a good direction. You gotta understand. It's like, where do we go from here? It's kind of like an Aaron Carter. That's the question. We might swing past his Instagram before we get out of here. But the question is, where is it going? Because I've seen where this road goes. Not very pleasant of a road. Parkland shooting. Friday marks 2-year anniversary of the shooting. No, it does not actually. It marks Valentine's Day. And I guess, yeah, it does the anniversary, obviously, because it happened. But it's going to be, see what you're making it into, obviously. And I'm talking to the newscasters, and they don't know no better. They're just reading teleprompters and doing their job. And I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes in order to get their jobs. And I'm not interested. But meanwhile, you're taking the holiday of St. Valentine's Day and you're twisting and you're morphing it. It's like, okay, well, how many years in a row you think you're going to celebrate the anniversary of the Parkland incident? All right. And desperately try to maintain relevance with some people who we would definitely forget about just as soon as look at. And these people keep being thrusted upon our faces, right? They're thrusted into our eyeballs, and it kind of reminds me of something that I heard about, and actually on a side note, but we'll probably talk about this later, a thing called meme warfare. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to call these Parkland survivors or whatever, some of their parents and stuff, and it's like, condolences to everybody who loses a loved one, obviously. obviously, but um, I wouldn't call them memes necessarily, but it is a way of thrusting imagery into our faces. Like we know, we recognize the pictures of these various people, and they're being burned and singed into our brains. I would venture to say, and it's kind of resemblant to meme warfare, which is a term that I learned only today. All right, shout out to 3 people up in the building. Like I said, keep in mind, keep an eye on the comments. But I also want to say, take it easy out there, all right? You might be rocking the baby to sleep right now, currently, or something. You might be doing something nice, watering your garden. Your hands are all dirty and stuff. Maybe you got an herb garden just like me. I got another herb today. I forget. Cilantro, actually. Yeah, that's pungent. All right. And I'm making a little bit of a mixture. We're going to have hybrid herbs up in here. All right. And no, I don't mean reefer. All right. I know that's what everybody's thinking out there. That's not what I mean. I'm having an herb garden. But I already showed y'all. Parkland shooting Friday, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what they're celebrating. Some satanic stuff. I don't know. That might be called bullying. I love everybody. I hate nobody on earth. San Antonio restaurant makes top 10. I'm not just saying that either. That would be a good thing to say, just to be like, oh, I'm not hate mongering, but at the same time, really, truly don't hate nobody. San Antonio restaurant, who cares? Who cares about that? We got a million billion restaurants in San Antonio because we love to eat. It's called diabetes. The Pretenders, Christy Handy reacts to Trump honoring Rush Limbaugh, says her dad would have been delighted. I don't know what any of that means. Hold on. That almost sounds interesting, but I don't know what it means. Chrissy Handy, the lead singer of the rock band The Pretenders, gave a surprising message to President Trump on Monday, and that's what's kind of interesting. You know what? I don't know who this person is or how she be related to Rush Limbaugh necessarily. I know a lot of people already know about Rush Limbaugh. I haven't been keeping up too closely with it as far as the recently discovered cancer, lung cancer, and also the honoring with the what's it called, the Medal of Freedom or something that he got recently at the State of the Union. Rush Limbaugh. So Chrissy Handy has something to say about it, and she put up a message to Donald Trump. And I think that's what's very interesting. And obviously, it's already been an extreme trend, and I think it's going to trend even more. See, what people who have some basis in reality, what those people are understanding and getting right now is that Donald Trump, for all his differences from you and I, we're all going to be different. He's a listener. This guy's a listener. And I mean it, like, to the point is that you would describe him that way, as a listener. He listens, right? And so he takes he takes it into consideration. And so people, I see a number of people, lots of times they'll go on InfoWars, but not even that. Lots of times they'll just go on Twitter or whatever, and Facebook and YouTube, and they'll make these viral things. And I know you've probably seen a couple of them out there. It's been a lot of them. It's trending. It's a trending idea as far as making a personal message to the president and seeing if he retweets it personally on his Twitter. And wouldn't that be such a thrill? That's something, could you ever imagine? Could you ever imagine the president shouting you out and giving you props and saying, hey, that's real news? And then the spotlight's on you. It's happened to a number of people, like from off the Twitter sphere and this and that, in which Donald Trump, it would make you wonder, like, how does he all find these videos, sometimes very esoteric videos he'll be finding? It's because he's actually listening to him. And I've heard people speculate, and I can't say as to whether or not Donald Trump's medicated sometimes. Uppers, sometimes downers, sometimes. Meanwhile, uppers and downers have, from what I understand, consistently been a part of being the president anyways, as far as the jet lag, as far as this and that, as far as extreme pressure and hours and stuff. There's been uppers and downers involved since Reagan, and I'm sure before that. So Could Donald Trump be on that tip? Maybe. Is he a total dynamo and this and that, and he only sleeps 2 hours a night? Maybe, I don't know, but it's just to say I noted that, all right? And any little Joe Schmo little out there like you and me could make a video, and if it's so resonant and if it's so insightful that Donald Trump will find it and throw it up there, and you'll get world famous for whatever that means, right? On Twitter, all right? So that lady, she's doing big things. I don't know what she said, but couple got married in Vegas and now travel around the U.S. and Canada together in a $4,000 van. What? Couple got married in Vegas and now travel around. Who cares? But here's the thing. They're very attractive. If you're looking at them, I would have to admit these people are probably very attractive, and so that's why people want to look at them on the internet. This stuff is not very much news, Google. Yeah, I'm already feeling disappointed. And personally, because we were winging it, I had no idea what was coming down the pike. But I don't hardly want to see to the end of this, right? And we might diversify. Check out the Drudge Report real quick, or hopefully somebody's saying something interesting. And then maybe go to Instagram, right? And I don't know if we have some requests out there. There's definitely different directions that we can go as far as Instagram goes. Speaking of which, we got to check out our South African. So, not our South African like we own him, but our man who's making the trek, and I don't know if he's still doing it. If he is still doing it, he's got to be closing in on Washington, D.C. as we speak. Our good South African friend who's walking to Washington, D.C. From Texas, I believe Austin, in order to bring awareness. I'm gonna check him out, but I don't know. Perhaps there would be something interesting. The story of the pharmacist can't tell, and who cares? But Bernie Sanders. Young adults support Bernie Sanders because they want to benefit from boomer socialism. That older Americans, I don't know what they're talking about. Basically, boomers and Zoomers or boomers and the millennials, I don't know, comparing together and loving socialism for some reason, or sometimes getting duped into it and not necessarily understanding what socialism means, and yet still loving it like it's a religion, and because basically it is a promise of all sort of free goodies. Now, typically, I think most of the people who are wanting the free goodies, they believe they've already earned the free goodies, albeit through being born or having done some sort of work that nobody's aware of. They want the free goodies, and I do feel like they think they deserve them. So that's where the problem lies. Over on this end, we say, oh, that's free goodies. Over on their end, they say, hey, we earned this. This is something that we earned. And it was stolen from us by the rich people. And they stole all our money. They stole all our money up. Okay, here's a millionaire. Bernie Sanders rolling around in all sort of Rolls Royces to save the day. Everything is a mess right now. Hundreds were stuck on Westerdam cruise ship held up in Cambodia. You know, you guys, I've discussed how I do have some people up in Cambodia. And I do want to hear from people. That's why I ask, like around where from you're at and stuff. I want to know. We want to get some more angles. But like, for example, I know some people up in Cambodia. Like, I know some people who I haven't talked to in a while, and I might shut them out. Now that I'm on Facebook, I know some people up in Korea. Obviously, a lot of people know people up in Korea, but okay, I know some people in Cambodia. They have a dog issue, but as far as, if they're being brutal to dogs, I couldn't say, nor do I think it's my business necessarily. But one thing in the news that I forgot to talk about with my people up in Cambodia was this here cruise ship. Now, you might have heard about the whole coronavirus over there in China, maybe leaking out and getting into certain countries. We got a certain amount of cases up in America, and there's a certain amount of cases in different various countries. uh, obviously to include Asia, being in the vicinity. So Cambodia is the country that wound up taking in a cruise ship. I believe it's called the Princess or the Princess. I don't know, but it was a boat, a big cruise ship. I've never been on a cruise, and honestly, I can't say that I would want to be on a cruise. I'm not sure. I've never been posed with the idea, but okay, they couldn't go in because they had corona. Some people on the ship had corona and they figured it out. So they were going to different Asian countries trying to dock, and people wouldn't let them. Like, I don't know if they probably pointed guns at them and said, hey, listen, you're not docking here. So these people, they're running out of food and stuff probably. I'm sure that they're getting, like, perhaps shipped food by boats and stuff, but they're like, in a bad way. Not only, okay, even if food wasn't a situation, there's people on the ship who are sick with corona. And so you're on a ship with them, and you're basically you're all locked down to try and desperately make sure that nobody else gets corona. Meanwhile, corona has been suggested to be highly contagious. So, like, I mean, highly contagious. So even if y'all lock yourselves down, perhaps if the air conditioning is strong enough, it'll float y'all's diseases through the vents and stuff. So that'll, you know what I'm saying? You could still wind up getting sick. And I think that's what they were having to do over the course of days and days. And they couldn't dock nowhere. They wound up docking in Cambodia because Cambodia took them in. So shout out to the humanitarians up in Cambodia, y'all. All right, and I wish them all the best. I don't know what this guy's doing. He's praying and stuff, and everything is a mess right now. I'm not sure what that means. Hundreds who are stuck on a Western cruise ship held up in Cambodia. Gosh, to be honest, USA Today is probably really fake news, but they got me. I'll bite. I do kind of want to know what happened with these, allegedly what happened with these here passengers, right? See, this is 4 hours ago, so super breaking, totally legit, USA Today. There was a moment of what seemed like a sweet relief when passengers were able to disembark from Holland America's MS Westerdam after being turned away from multiple ports. But things took a turn when a passenger from a ship was diagnosed with coronavirus on her journey home. All right. Oh, man. Give me the business here. Okay. As a result, hundreds of passengers and crew members are finding themselves in limbo once again. Allegedly. Everything is a mess right now. Steve Muth, a passenger from Michigan, who is traveling on the Westerdam with his family, told USA Today Sunday morning Muth and other guests were advised to stay in their rooms at Socom Hotel and wait for updates. More than 24 hours later on Monday, things hadn't changed. It's just a lot of confusion. It's just a lot of chaos and frustration. Muth is staying with his wife, his daughter, and the daughter's boyfriend. I'm sure. In a hotel in Phnom Penh, I don't know how to say it, capital of Cambodia. They have 2 sons at home in Michigan as well. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about all it. It's just say that they're describing a lot of confusion and chaos and stuff. What that means necessarily, I don't know. I was expecting the worst, to be honest. I was thinking that maybe we'd read the article and find out that hundreds of coronavirus-stricken people are running all willy-nilly all throughout Cambodia. Wouldn't that be a disaster? But I assume that that's not happening, or else USA Today would talk to us about it, all right? So let's just run through the rest of them and go to Instagram, all right? Treat ourselves to a little bit of Instagram before we get out of here. Alex Jones finally becomes a Bitcoin believer. I'm sad that I didn't get into Bitcoin. I don't have any Bitcoins, and they made all this money apparently. Anyways, I'm happy for them though. Bloomberg's long record of vulgar comments haunting presidential bid. See, Bloomberg's involved in all sort of meme warfare. We might talk about that before we get out of here. And it's really disgusting and disturbing. And I mean it. And I'm talking about recent updates are just bewildering, and it's meme warfare. You might wonder, well, why is this happening? It's meme warfare is what's happening, and it's a new thing. Top events in Miami this week. Missed out on the Miami International Boat Show. Who cares about boat shows, alright? BTS, that's what I'm talking about. These guys who look like Asian ladies, alright? Or Asian lesbian ladies and stuff, and all the ladies are very horny for them. And it's ultimately, they'll never understand why I see it as satanic. They'll never understand, and I'm not trying to force them to understand. The little girls out there and homosexual men out there, they're not going to understand why I say that this in particular is a satanic ritual that you're involving yourselves in, and that these male figures are becoming transgender right in front of your faces, and you're supposed to be sexually aroused by it the whole entire time, no matter what it is gender that they're claiming, and it's satanic. All right. Changes by Justin Bieber is out by now. That's good. 10 reasons you shouldn't go vegan. Those are probably different animal products. Future Life is good. That's good too. Ordering pizza chain wings at the Super Bowl. We ranked it. That's awesome. All right. That's all the news for today. And we appreciate Google for their contributions. Meanwhile, there's Steve Urkel. And secondly, let's go to Instagram. See if we can work it. I'm not sure what we want to be the theme for our Instagram journey, our little 10-minute Instagram journey while we wind down. So we might just go ahead and wing it, all right? And we see that on Instagram, what popped up, the first thing that popped up, and just, I didn't affect it. It's just a roll of the dice, was Aaron Carter's Instagram. Now, it might seem brash, but just to get to the nitty gritty, if you will, we don't have very much time. Here's a lady, right? She's one of those, I don't think we could say those words, the words to describe her, that you know what I mean. Oh man, don't do that. But the words, you know, the stereotypical words that you say to describe this lady. I think those are getting banned from YouTube, so we're not going to say them. But this little, I don't know if we could say, I don't know, we need to start thinking of code words here. But okay. Sleazy and greasy and just all together slimy, always looking at herself probably and taking selfies in the bathroom. And so this is Aaron Carter's girlfriend, right? Kind of caused controversy on Aaron Carter's Instagram, and it was really funny. And he probably has comments on this photo, right? When he first started posting her, which was like maybe a few weeks ago, his fans got really upset and said, "Oh, she's a gold digger. She's out to get you. She's about to take your money and stuff." That's obviously what she's doing, all right? In any way that she can, she's going to try and finagle some sort of resources out of Aaron Carter. She's in no way sexually attracted to Aaron Carter, although that's the only thing Aaron Carter lives for. She's trying to use him for resources. It's none of our business necessarily, but you know, it's very stereotypical. I just wanted to look at the picture just for a little while longer. Notice the face tattoos. Notice I can't really zoom in, but just a very emptiness. The eyes are empty. Just not a drop in there. And using Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter's in a bad way. If you were to continue going down this road, it's not going to work out good for him. Speaking of that, we can check out all 96 comments. Like I said, it was controversial the first time he put her up in his Instagram posts. And what I mean by that is some people got on his Instagram, as anybody can freely comment and stuff, and was talking about her bad and saying, "Oh, this is a bad move. This is a bad look. Aaron Carter, I can't believe you. Why are you doing this to yourself?" And then what was interesting is that he personally would reply to like every one of them. And that's the thing about celebrities. You can't blame them for not replying to everybody's comments. They get thousands of comments. I wouldn't blame them for not replying to any of the comments. Why would they be on Instagram if you're a celebrity? Alright, but meanwhile, if we go to the comments, I bet you we're going to have some funny comments, alright? My baby took a photo with my custom my custom hoodies. I don't know what that means. Blah 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 blah. Because he makes more money if everyone had all this stuff. Anyways, like I don't. Okay, so some people are gonna be fans of it, right? And I haven't seen the comments. And I actually had to cock my head sideways in order to see this. Hold on one second. All right, all right. So we're seeing the comments. Where's the OnlyFans? What? Where can I track my purchase? What the hell wrong with her eye? Is she trans? I'm not trying to be insulting. All right. All right. So there's less negative comments on this post than I saw on the previous one, but that one was kind of negative. So let's check out the replies. All right. Yes, and no shame. I'm just curious. What? So Silas Avery 1 says, is she trans? I'm not trying to be insulting. Alright, and so uh, uh, IG Love and Light said, yes, and no shame. I'm just curious, whatever that means. Just Liz Marie says, I was about to ask the same question. And so I commend Aaron Carter for not replying to it. Alright, because like I said, he'd been making a habit of it. And hopefully, I don't know when this was posted. I don't know how Instagram works necessarily. But hopefully, what I would hope happens is that Aaron Carter does not reply to any of these here comments, right? And some are going to be supportive. Some aren't going to be supportive, right? We're not going to spend the rest of the broadcast on it. But it's just to say we know where this road goes, all right? It doesn't make us happy to know about it, but we already know about it. Here's a guy, Ken Kardashian, all right? I don't get the whole point of it necessarily. There's all sort of different variants on the spectrum that we're coming to get familiar with as far as genders. Ken Kardashian, he's very much, I don't know, I assume he's like a Kardashian. And it's like he's not even hardly trying. That's what's interesting. Is that there's a lot of variants to include, say, perverts who are trying to infringe, say, on children. That's actually a pretty decent percentage of it. Especially the clown demon ghoul goblins. Those are typically the ones. Now, this guy, I'm not going to describe him as a ghoul goblin. He just looks like a regular guy. In fact, if you took out the eyeshadow and the lipstick, that would be a regular ass guy, all right? And nobody would think twice about it. Okay, standing in the sunset. But so it's like he's not even trying. And I don't even get it no more. You don't have to try. You don't have to be impressive. There's a little dog of a person I know, right? And there's a person I know right there. Shout out to Philip Andrew. And his hair, man, yeah, his hair is immaculate. I don't know. Some people do that. Skullbound TV and stuff like that. All right, so I never come to my Instagram for the subscriptions necessarily. All right, that's not where I get my goods necessarily. It's typically, I thought if I click that button, oh, this is people's stories. All right, there's Steve Jessup. If y'all don't know that guy, I used to watch that guy a lot. But here's the thing: I thought if I click this button, oh man, I have no idea how any of this stuff works. I thought it was gonna search. Right? Okay, wait. Let's go back to search. I don't even know how we're looking for. First of all, we did want to check out our South African friend. Obviously, before we get out of here, check up on his pace, see where he's at. Over here in America, is he closing in on Washington, D.C.? I don't know. Let me click on it. Alright, there's our man. It's in Brownsville, but obviously that's a different kind of Brownsville. Brownsville, Tennessee. Alright, never heard of that. We got a Brownsville in Texas, but that's the other direction. Oh, check out that house. That's pretty. Yeah, that's a pretty nice house. Looks historic, looks like it was kind of built a while ago. I don't know if that's the case. Check out these nice pictures, a nice church, right? Tennessee, Brownsville, Tennessee. I'm not sure exactly where that's at. I'm looking at America right now. Right, on one of those globes, but I can't tell. Welcome to Bartlett. Right, Look at him, Elvis. He's pointing at it. He likes it. I like that sort of stuff too. Looks like he's making his rounds. I believe Tennessee, if I had to guess, would be like halfway in between where he's about to get to going, right? Which is Washington, D.C. to represent for that South African stuff. We're keeping our eye on him. And other various things on Instagram. We're about to get up out of here. But let me know if you know anything about Instagram and what we should be looking at. But in the meantime, I was going to see. Sometimes Instagram works in a certain kind of way in which it does all the work for me, right? And for some reason, it will give me like perverts and weird stuff like that, right? You might ask yourself, well, why am I coming onto Instagram for the perversion? It's like it provides a whole new world of it for me, all right, that I never was aware of sometimes. And it'll jump out of there. It'll jump out at you. I got Steven Crowder and stuff like that, all right? Like, for example, this. That's weird. You know what I mean? And it's hard for me to gauge it. I can't hardly harness the energy that I put into this Instagram because I never know. It's like a box of chocolates, right? Sometimes it's like, I never know what to. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going, but I end up here. You know what I'm saying? You might ask yourself, how does it get in this? Just by doing this, and I'll scroll my finger, and I'll come across this dog, and now we got a dog who's a drag queen. And obviously you're going to see that coming, but there's always been dog drag queens, I suppose, all right? And so just to demonstrate, as I've done before, you try to find a picture that's like extra ghoul goblin, right? And it's hard to do sometimes, it's like, it's hard to differentiate which one's more extra ghoul goblin. And then you try to find that picture and harness that, right? Like, that's extra ghoul goblin. And so think to yourself, well, where's the comments? So check out the comments and see, okay, what are people saying? What are the people saying? Yes, shape. I don't know what that means. That person's got a check mark. And what if we click on that person? Where does that take us? That's a story. I don't want to do that, but I wanted to click on that person and find their... See, like, I don't know how to work Instagram, but sometimes I'll click on people and it'll take me to their story. And I don't want to go to their story, but okay, so it takes me to their channel. Just like I said, it's unlimited ghoul goblins. If you go on Instagram, I don't know how to tell you how to do it, but it'll just keep popping out at you and stuff. You can check it out. That's for McDonald's representing. That's Ronald McDonald. If you didn't think Ronald McDonald was creepy enough, right? And stuff like that. Oh, God. We shouldn't be seeing this stuff. It's like, I'm pretty sure they hide weird pictures in the bathroom. Why are they in the bathroom? I don't know. They're just hanging out in the bathroom and they see weird pictures. And it continues. And then if you wanted to find a different person, there's a strange dog. And you gotta wonder what these people's lives literally are like. And then you find whatever picture strikes you as the most ghoul goblin. Alright? There's a lot of pictures here. They're very ghoul goblin. Which one's the... Oh, God. That guy... Oh, God. See, that's a dude. Oh, God. I don't know. Oh, see, this might be too much. Might strike you as too much. But I might remind you, this person was born a dude, right? So technically speaking, if we were looking at Tarzan right now, that would not be illegal. Something's wrong about this. Oh, God. We need to get off this. But, okay, check out the comments. Obviously, you remember what we were just looking at. I don't want to go back there. Got to get up out of here. But let's check out the comments. We got people saying fire. We got people saying please, kisses. You got fantastic. You got love it. And I mean love it. I mean love it. Coming from Oswayland. Pansonium. Wait, Pansavam. This kabuki look is my everything. I love it. I love your body. Alright, and it just goes on and on. And you can find unlimited perversion. That's how you do it on Instagram. Alright, if you're ever wondering about me and how I found out, it found me out, you guys. And I disagree with all of it. In fact, I go so far as to say relations outside of wedlock, not a good idea. If you're gonna get married, probably get married to the opposite sex, right? And there's only, I don't want to get all into it, but I'm not saying that as a front or a beard. You can think whatever you want to. I know there's been a lot of people out there who's perpetrating and said, "Oh, I like traditional marriage." Meanwhile, we find out that there's some sort of weird pervert behind the scenes. Right? It's not the case. You don't have to believe me necessarily. You really don't have to believe me, but I'm out here telling you it's not the case. I think this is all disgusting. All right, but I'm still gonna study it, and that might make you feel a certain way about me. That's all right because somebody needs to study it, so know what the hell we're dealing with. And perhaps it should be criminal, right? It's disgusting. I'll holler at y'all. I love everybody, but I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. It's February the 17th, 2020, and I'll holler at y'all just a little bit later.